Welcome back to another episode of the Michel Matters Podcast. I'm Jocks Michelle.
And I'm Jackie Michelle.
Welcome back.
Hey, guys.
Another Pillow Talk episode.
Yeah, first one of 2020.
I know. This week kind of got away from us. Sorry. Do you want to start over?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this is really, we getting it out the mud today. So, yeah. Jackie had an idea. I don't know why I'm talking like that.
Yeah, I don't know why either.
Because I was trying to remember what we wanted to talk about. But Jackie brought up talking about quiet time. What made you think about that?
Well, when we had recorded the last episode the day before Kobe passed. And so, which I'm kind of glad we got that out of the way and didn't do that on Sunday because our energy would have not been there.
Yeah, so.
But yeah, I just feel like, how long has it been now? 2 weeks have passed?
Yeah.
Since that accident, I guess I should call it.
Yeah, it's an accident.
And I feel like just social media and people and I feel like everyone around us was kind of sad, and I mean, obviously, that's 9 lives. So yeah. I just felt like talking about how we deal with hard times, and looking back at it, we always go back to the Word or have some type of quietness or stillness, because I feel like even afterwards, like, I'm not even a sports fan, but even like to this day I still see pictures of him and his daughter pop up, and I'm just like, I think I'm gonna get off of Instagram now. Like, you just different things that we do to cope with life, I guess. What?
No, because it's, I think that was the thing with the Kobe thing. It went beyond just people who, watch sports. Yeah. It was anyone who, family or just has compassion, I guess, for the suddenness of it. It affected us. And watching, it was difficult to watch, like, people grieve on like TV or through the internet, like when they're playing and they're showing LeBron crying during the pregame, and it's like, it just doesn't feel normal. It feels weird to be involved in someone's like intimate moment like that.
Yeah.
So I think that made it tougher these last couple weeks, just watching people grieve and kind of cope with the loss.
Yeah.
It was difficult.
Yeah. So yeah, I feel like when things like that happen, I usually just kind of keep to myself. But I mean, I know we shouldn't only pray when things are hard, but I think that's typically when I pray the most. Or more so. So I kind of wanted to talk about how we get into that space, or what we do to even prepare for that. Like, how do you find where to even start? Especially when you're in a tough spot. Because a lot of the times it could either be what I just explained, where it's like you're in a tough spot and you just go in on prayer because you have literally nothing else to hold on to.
Yeah.
Or you just pull back and you're just like, just in a state of shock.
Yeah, I mean, those are typically the two extremes of it. I would say for myself, I mean, just over time, I've gone through both, where I would go, like, ham, like, I would be meditating, on the word a lot, or I'll be praying a lot. But I think the main thing is finding just a healthy medium, because typically that's a pace you can't keep up.
Yeah.
So I think that's always my struggle with my quiet time, is finding a pace that I can keep up with, because my schedule fluctuates a little, and I'll be fine for like 2 months, and then like you said it the other day, and I didn't even think about it. It was like when basketball season comes, it kind of just like my schedule changes, and I never really adjusted properly to the change. What?
You just not realize that?
What? That basketball changes everything?
Yeah.
Yeah, I never thought about it like that. I just live life.
Seriously?
I'm dead serious.
Wow.
I've never thought about it.
Interesting.
And just how that affects my schedule.
I feel like it affects everything.
Yes.
Like, literally everything.
I mean, I don't know what you're getting at.
I mean, not in a bad way, but I'm just shocked that you don't feel that change.
I never really pinpointed it down to that. I don't think that's the only thing, but yeah, I never really pinpointed it down, and it's just been the change in my schedules and adjusting. So before, and I mean, we've spoken about it on this podcast, my morning routine, and how elaborate of a morning routine I had for a while.
Yeah.
And then there came...
That's a lot. Yeah, that was a lot.
It was a lot, but it was, at the time, it worked for me. As far as developing, like, I think I really got into the habit. It was solid, but then I kind of changed the way I do my mornings. As far as, like, I would work out in the morning. So that killed my morning routine.
Yeah, that's the whole morning routine.
Now it is. So it's, okay, mornings typically for me work best. Now that my mornings have changed, how do I consistently find a new routine?
Right.
So that's kind of been my struggle with my quiet time. But as far as the process when I'm in it, I think for me, first and foremost, it's like space, like finding the right place to be at. I kind of feel like I have like Jackie has her spot in the house where she does her quiet time. Mm-hmm. And then I finally found mine, I think.
You did?
Yeah. Where I would do it in the morning.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Where I would do it in the mornings. I think that for me, that plays a big role to limit distractions.
Yeah.
To like that, I think one of the big things was putting away my phone, turning everything off, like to really focus.
Well, what about if you do? Because you're saying putting away your phone. I know a lot of people do the plans on their phone. Mm-hmm. So they'll find, like, a devotion or some type of devotional plan on the Bible app or whatever it is. And then, like, how do you stay focused? Because I don't see you open an actual Bible.
So I was doing the plan, right? But at that early in the morning, the way I have my phone's on Do Not Disturb.
Oh, okay.
For up until a certain time. So I don't have other notifications coming in. And it's just the mental focus, like, all right, you don't need to go on Instagram. You don't need to. And that was actually part of my morning routine, was to stay off all that social medias, emails.
Yeah.
Don't even like check text messages. Until I had a certain time that I would give myself, and typically be like until after until I go shower, because when I go shower, that's when I usually listen to stuff. But yeah, so for me, that's how I would do it. If it was later in the day, that I have this thing on my phone too. It's like the Thrive app, where it'll shut off.
That sounds familiar.
for a block of time.
Yeah.
So that you can do things and not be interrupted by, notifications and phone calls and stuff.
Yeah. For me, like you said, having a space to do it in is like crucial.
Yeah.
It's either that or I do it in our room, like in bed.
I can't do that.
But like it's usually when you're gone, so you're not a distraction at that point. But then it is kind of distracting because I don't really use the do not disturb function on my phone. Just because I just feel like you never know.
Well, mine is set up with rules. So
if I call you.
Yeah, if you call me, it'll ring. If anybody on my favorites calls me, it'll ring.
Yeah.
And that's typically the people that I'm worried about. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's, I don't know. It just sounds like a lot of work. So I'm just like.
It's not. I mean.
If someone calls me, then it is what it is.
Yeah.
But I try not to let it be a distraction.
Mm-hmm.
And then I usually I'll start with prayer unless I have like a really good book that I'm trying to get through. Yeah. And then I have I keep a jar of just like prayers.
Yeah. That's a good concept.
Yeah. So I'll keep it I have one jar that it's like I'm still praying on it, and then another jar that
it's been
is answered. Yeah.
Mm.
And I'll usually write the date. Just so at the end of the year I can go back and be like, oh, okay. Yeah. But I didn't know if you had any encouraging what?
No, I'm trying to hear what you said to say.
Verses that have encouraged you, or plans or devotions that were good, or
I did the Tony Evans Kingdom Man. I went through that. It took me a little while to get through it, but that was a good read for me. And a lot of times when you read those books, they have a lot of verses in them. So to actually not just see the verse, but read the verse as you go through it, it gives more, thought to the text, and a lot of times it's, am I reading a book or am I reading my Bible right now, right? So that would help incorporate the two, because too many people get caught up with just one or the other.
Right.
So that was a good one for me. And then just the different plans on the Bible app. Typically they have some good stuff. They're short, so if you're trying to do, you have to work your way up to certain things. So if you're trying to just start, a lot of those are really good for beginner devotions.
Yeah, because there's some that's 3 days.
Yeah, and even just what you have to read, they're really short passages, and you can get real specific. They have some really specific, struggling at work, or just different things that you could be going through, and it's stuff I never even thought about. Oh wow, I didn't know they got at that specific topic. So that's been helpful, because I remember I was dealing with stress at work, and they have legitimate devotions for stress at work.
Just for that, yeah.
So it came in handy, because a lot of times trying to, not everyone just reads the Bible straight through. So trying to figure out, all right, how do I want to attack this? I've done the read Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and then when you're done, read Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and then a proverb a day, a psalm a day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I've done a lot of that. So sometimes actually diving into a topic just helps break it up and be a little more, efficient in what I'm trying to do.
Right. I think, well, you said you read Kingdom Man.
Mm-hmm.
I read Kingdom Woman.
Mm-hmm.
I think we were trying to do it at the same time.
Yeah. But you read way faster than me.
I don't know what it is. I just like reading.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know. I think the Evans family, too, we tend to read a lot of their stuff.
Yeah.
But Fervent was good, and that's by Priscilla Shirer, which is his daughter. And that just kind of helped me because I felt like I was in a rut as far as, like, I don't know what to read anymore. Like, that is encouraging, you know, like, as far as devotionals. I guess you can always come to some point where you feel stuck. Like, what else do I read in the Bible type thing? So that was helpful. And I want to say there was a movie, but I didn't see the movie. What else? The Bible app plans are good.
Yeah.
Like you said, if it's something specific. There was one I was reading about, like, a kingdom marriage or something like that, or like purpose in your marriage.
Okay.
But that was like a long one. That was like 15 days.
Okay.
But it was really good. Yeah.
How much time do you typically spend on your quiet time?
It could go from 15 minutes to... It's been like an hour before.
Yeah.
But those are not the norm.
Yeah, I was going to say, but those are like extreme days.
Yeah. That's like, oh, I woke up early today. Like, yeah, usually 15 minutes to like 30 minutes.
Because that's another thing, is like the setting aside the time, but also I think people have to pace themselves in a way, like, as far as you don't have to do... Some people aren't good at reading, like, 30-minute blocks, right? They'll read for 30 minutes, and then if you ask them in 10 minutes what they read, they can't tell you.
But it's not only reading for me.
So, okay, what consists of your quiet time, then?
I feel like my quiet time isn't always quiet.
But
for the most part.
The idea of quiet time is...
But, like, I'll read, journal, pray, and worship. But but worship is not as often.
Okay.
But it is incorporated in there. Because sometimes, even while I'm reading, I'll just have music playing.
In the background.
Which I know people don't like to do.
Yeah, but you're weird like that.
Yeah. Yeah, because even, like, Taryn was telling me when she's working from home, she just plays instrumentals. Because when she's writing emails, she gets distracted and writes the words. But yeah, I don't journal what I'm listening to. I can block it out. Especially if it's like a song I already know. It's like whatever. But yeah, that's usually like the four things. Sometimes it's literally just like a long conversation.
You mean like your prayer?
Yeah. Or
just the whole devotion or the whole quiet time?
Yeah.
And like you're talking out loud?
Sometimes.
It's weird.
Is it?
Like if I were to walk in and I just heard you talking?
Well, that's why I don't do it around you.
Okay, that's fair.
That's distracting.
That's fair.
Yeah.
For me, when I think of my quiet time, like typically it would start off with I have to like get focused, especially if it's not in the first thing in the morning. So I have to like stop. And this is something I've finally done after I tried meditation, which I'm really not good at. That's number one. I'm really not good at it.
Why is it? Your thoughts?
Yeah. So I had to get to the point where, and I got decent, I guess, where I would start in the morning, and I had a guided meditation. I had a guided meditation that I would follow because that's the thing. Like, I need something to keep me focused.
Yeah. Or
something to focus on. Other than that, I'm going to go, like, my mind's going to go crazy.
Yeah. So
I felt like when I would read my Bible after I did that, it would be much better for me because I kind of just to take a moment, and it's never long. It'll be like 3 to 5 minutes typically. I used to do 10, but that was guided also.
10 minutes of just quiet.
Yeah, so the one I did, because it's meditation could get a bad rap, because you don't always know what they're saying. Like when, I don't know if you see like a lot of the meditations that people do are with like mantras and different things. Like what are they saying? I don't know. But I use like a Christian meditation app, so it'll be they'll read verses or like, so my mind will be focused on that, and it won't necessarily be my devotion for the day, but it'll just be something to kind of like, okay, like you're about to pray, you're about to get into the word, kind of stop thinking about work or don't think about, other things. It just helps me to kind of like, okay, you're about to just get my mind ready for what I'm about to do. Right. So I don't have as much time, but I just know to, before I read my Bible, to stop and like stop thinking about work, stop thinking about like, and really just like focus. Because I think I had a bad habit of trying to do my devotions and think about other things at the same time. And I wasn't as effective, I don't feel like. So that's like number one. And prayer is the other way I would do that, is like to pray first. I pray to be focused. And I pray to not get distracted, because that's the thing about doing devotions at night for me, especially if I do it right before bed. I'm not all there. Right. I'm thinking about sleep, or just thinking about, what I just finished doing or what I have to do after. That's why mornings typically work best. I'm not going to use an excuse for why I've been slacking, but yeah, I think that's part of it. It's trying to find how I can make my nights better for me for devotion, because that's what it's going to have to be. Right. I just haven't done a good job with that. So.
Yeah. What about like some of your favorite verses to cling on to? So like, as far as like, since we brought up Kobe, a death or a hard time, or like what verses have brought you comfort?
So, I'm not the greatest with.
I mean, you don't have to say exactly where it is.
Yeah, but you put me on the spot. But when I think of Kobe, I think of the verse where it talks about that we're to live a life of hope. I kind of talk about that a lot, where it's like when people get down, we have to remember that this is not just it. That we're to live a life. I don't know how to best describe it.
You trying to find it?
Yeah, because now you put me on the spot.
Sorry.
You talk about the Kobe.
The Kobe. I think for me it's do not be anxious about anything. I don't know what verse is that, or what was the rest of the verse? But in all things, something. Do not be anxious, basically. Another verse was what?
You don't hear that? Sorry, it's throwing me off. But go ahead.
Was like even the birds are taken care of, that verse. And we will definitely find those verses, because we're doing a bad job about like.
Yeah, I don't know why you would ask that if you weren't ready.
I mean, it's just a pillow talk. So, and another one is, she laughs at all the days to come. Like she's not worried about the future. That's a good one. But those are like my top 3 verses that we will list below.
So yeah, now you put me on the spot.
Well, I thought you found it.
No.
But just explain it then, and then we'll find it later.
Well, you asked me a verse specific about like the Kobe thing. I don't necessarily.
No, I was saying for any situation.
For any situation,
a verse that has brought you comfort.
I'm trying to think because there's the typical ones. So like, like the the sparrow. If you are to ask God for bread, He won't hand you like a stone. Like it's things like that. So I don't think there's any one verse, or I guess there's so many to choose from that I've gone to. I don't have any like go-tos. Like I don't have something that I would tattoo on my arm type deal. No, I'm serious.
Yeah.
Because there's just so many different situations. I've gone through so many feelings. I can't.
Right.
I don't know if I could pinpoint.
But are you that person that would just immediately go to the Bible if something wrong happens, or you just kind of need your time?
I think I pray before anything. I pray. I don't think I just run to the Bible.
Yeah.
I that's where I feel most. I get most of my peace from. Is from praying. So that's typically where I run to first when I have an issue.
Right. I am not that person.
No?
Mm-mm. I wish. I pray eventually.
Yeah.
But I wish I could just be like, oh, guys, this just happened. Like, let's pray. Like, nah. Like, I need time. I need to, like, process.
For me, I think that's just...
That helps in your process.
Yeah, and it's, to me, the easiest... Not easiest, but, like, now it's gotten to the point where, like, when I know something happens, or I'll try to stop and pray at that moment. So that's one of the good things about having my own office at work, is that sometimes when I have to, I just close the door and I'll just pray at that moment. Because
when it's like with other people, yes, I can do that. Like if one of my friends calls me and tells me something's going on or whatever, I'm like, okay, cool. Like, let me get away from this keyboard and I just pray. But if it's me, like if something's happening to me, it takes me a while to actually want to. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if it's a tough situation.
Okay. Well, in that case, then yes, I need time.
Yeah, you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I need time to process my thoughts. Typically, I do that through music. Like you have everybody got their go-to playlist when they going through something.
Yeah.
You know which gospel playlist you need to get to, just to get those feelings out. Like there are some songs. Like I don't know if you ever get to the point where like you just feel like I need to let out some emotion, whether it's cry or scream or it's like there are certain songs you can play that I know this song will make me cry, or I know if I play this song, it's gonna like hype me up to call on God or to lean on God.
Right.
Music definitely like is key for me and stuff like that.
Yeah, I can agree. Yeah.
What else? I'm trying to think what else is important about how do you deal with or your schedule with your quiet time. Is it every day? Is it in the morning? Is it at night?
I shoot for every day. Every morning. I shoot for every morning. It doesn't always happen every morning. But that's the goal. And for whatever reason, it just feels like I shoot for every weekday morning. Like on the weekends, I'm like,
yeah.
Like, I'm just in bed or whatever. I go about my day, but it just doesn't hit the same. Like, does that make sense?
No.
I feel like Monday through Friday, I get hit with more things that I need to be armored for. And so I have to. Like, I feel like I have to do my devotion every Monday through Friday. But then, like, Saturday, I'm like,
I think it's like your dad's like, you Americans, like, that's just how we're wired.
Yeah.
We're wired to, you work Monday through Friday.
Right.
And then on the weekends, you take off.
But Sundays, I be feeling like I have to sometimes.
Yeah, because, I mean, you about to go to church.
Yeah, but, I mean...
Even 99 Jams know to play gospel until 12.
Why would I need to feel armored, you know what I'm saying, to go... Because all we do on Sunday is go to church.
But I think even... a lot of it, too, on Sundays is, like, the prep. The mind prep for church.
That's true. Yeah, that's what it is. Because even, like, on the car ride...
Yeah, you don't want me to play no other type of... I can't play no TED Talk.
No.
It's got to be put on the gospel.
Yeah, like...
Yeah, it's a prep thing.
Get me prepared.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, but Saturdays, it's like, no.
Oh, I know. It's the Americanness of us.
Yeah, it's the routine.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why that is.
I don't know. I think for me, it's okay. I do find my routine, and then I start to slide, right? And it's getting back on track. Mm. A lot of times there's a level of I don't know, just the word. It's like when you're ashamed that you've been away for so long, and it's like, God, please accept me back. I'm about to. I know I've been gone for a while, but take me back.
Yeah.
And it's getting past that initial, just, intrepidness. Like, oh, should I? Because a lot of times it's like, I don't want God to just think I come back when I need him for something. Because that's typically how people get out of their ruts.
Right.
Like, you start going through something, it's like, oh, snap. I wonder if he's going to pick up. I ain't call him in a minute. You know what I mean?
But you should know better than that.
You should. But I think people just in general, or Christians in general, you kind of have that sense of guilt.
Yeah. And
guilt can create a weird sense of doubt in you that
right.
It looks disingenuous, or it kind of just can put you off. And there's a quote I guess we've been hearing a lot lately, or not a lot, but this book can keep you away from sin, and sin can keep you away from this book, and you feel a level of guilt when you don't read, or you haven't done it so long that can just keep pushing you further away if you keep feeding into it. And it's like finding ways to get out of that rut of not reading and jumping back in is always like key, like really crucial. Yeah,
it's a relationship. So it's like, how do you keep up your relationship? Mm-hmm. It's like filling that love tank that we always talk about. Like, what?
No, that's true.
Yeah, like if I don't do this to you, then you don't feel loved.
But there's like, I feel your cold shoulder when you don't do it. Like, God's not gonna literally like, make you feel bad.
Yeah.
You kind of have to have that motivation on your own.
Right.
And typically, the way, how like, I know your love tank isn't full because you'll act a certain way towards me. Most people don't notice that God's giving them the cold shoulder until something bad happens in their life. And it's like, yeah, I guess I need to call
Let
him.
me go back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, how do you catch yourself before it gets to that point?
Right.
And that's where having hopefully other Christians around you could kind of raise that level of accountability in you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that's it.
Yeah. So yeah, this was just a quick, dive into just how we view devotion and quiet time.
Yeah.
Bible study. And we didn't really get into how we do it together.
Oh yeah.
We just finished a really good devotion by Gary Chapman.
So how do you pick a book?
So that one, I was in Barnes and Nobles, and I literally was just like, I want to find a good devotion. I didn't do any pre-research, so I was literally in there just opening them up pretty much one by one. I started with the names that I knew of authors and stuff.
Right.
So the Gary Chapman, when I got to it, I was like, oh, buddy Gary.
Why are you keep putting the in front of people's names?
What do you mean?
The Gary Chapman.
That's my guy. So, you know.
The Kobe.
The Kobe. So I opened up the book and I kind of just, I tried to find one that it wasn't just read this. It was like you read a passage and then it had a practical lesson for the week.
That's what I like.
It had, like things to answer while you were going through it. Check-ins, like it just seemed very interactive, and I like that part of it.
Yeah.
And yeah, to me it worked for us. So.
Yeah. So how are you gonna go about getting another one?
This time I'm actually gonna do research. So yeah, I want to buy a new one. I kind of have like it narrowed down. And yeah, hopefully I can get it really soon.
Yeah.
It's probably something I could do as I edit this podcast. I can kind of make my final decision.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we figured out, like, for us, we started doing devotion after, like, breakfast. It was a time where, I mean...
On a weekend.
Yeah. So we would do it on the weekend. It'd be after a meal, or during the meal, during to after the meal.
Yeah.
Because we're together, we're sitting down. Typically, we don't have there's no rush. There's not a, oh, are you sleepy type deal, like you're awake.
Yeah.
Because that used to be the thing.
Yeah, that used to be a problem.
Yeah, it's like we started the devotion, I'm like, yo, why are you sleeping?
Because
but it's 11
at like 9:30.
9:30 is not late. I'm not gonna shoot you that bill.
9:30 is late.
So.
But yeah, we wouldn't get in bed until like 11, and then I'm like falling asleep during
Yeah. So I'm like, because nights are better for me. I'm like, why can't you stay awake during devotion? And it's just not a good time for her. Mornings are better for me, but like early mornings, and I'm like, she's not waking up for that.
No.
So, you know, the weekend, Saturday morning, like that kind of worked for us, especially because we typically don't do our own devotions on the Saturdays. So it's like a good, you know, medium.
Yeah.
To kind of fill that gap in.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to basically just have a conversation about one way that it brings us back to the center.
Mm-hmm.
Especially during hard times, hard news. I think the world is just gonna get crazier.
Mm-hmm.
So, there has to be a way that you stay grounded, that you stay focused on things above, and that is one of the ways. So, hopefully that was helpful. Hopefully we don't sound too tired.
Yeah.
It's still kind of early. But yeah, so we'll list all of those verses and books and things in the description. What?
No.
In the description. And it is the month of February. So we have some interesting content coming soon.
Yeah, should be good.
Yes. So stay tuned. And that's it.
All right. Another episode in the books.
Bye.
See you.